the fact that I felt confused having listened to and reviewed KEYVITUP's debut album, and then realizing there was another group with a nearly identical name coming up. I mean, I was very confused. That is what brought me here. No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
There is a strange little moment happening in K-pop right now, and it kind of feels like a glitch in the system. Two rookie groups, completely unrelated, from different companies with different concepts, different genders, different creative teams, and yet both are debuting in the same month with names built around the exact same and unusual root, KEYV. To understand how bizarre that is, we should know who these groups actually are. KEYVITUP is a 5-member boy group under iNKODE Entertainment. It's the agency founded by Kim Jae-jung. They debuted April 8, 2026 with a self-titled EP. Their name, which is pronounced KEYVITUP, is a mashup of key, vital, and up. And it's meant to symbolize unlocking life's pulse and pushing forward. Then there's KEYVITZ. They're a 5-member girl group under AOMG, which is one of Jay Park's founded labels. They are going to debut later in April 2026 with their pre-release set for April 29th. Their name is supposed to be pronounced KEYVITZ, with the beat part leaning into AOMG's hip-hop lineage. Now, the company explains the meaning of their name as Key and Keyveatz, which is a bold move or commentary derived and repurposed from the Yiddish term for chatting, meddling. So not exactly the same group name, but the KEYV overlap is still uncanny. This is not a common word. It's not a phrase that naturally appears in Korean or English. It's not even a trope like love or debut. It's a stylized, Latin letter-based, invented word. The kind of thing branding teams usually craft to feel unique, modern, something that's globally adaptable. And yet these two groups, debuting weeks apart, ended up with names that look and sound like variations of the same invented word. So at first glance, it seems almost funny, kind of like the universe is playing a prank on anyone like me who tries to keep track of these rookie releases. But the longer I sat with it, the more it started to unravel into something bigger, and something I think that says less about the groups themselves and more about the creative infrastructure behind K-pop in 2026. Because this isn't just a coincidence. This is definitely a symptom of something. Debuting in K-pop has always been difficult, but the difficulty has certainly changed. It's not just about talent or concepts anymore. It's about metadata. It's about searchability. It's about whether your name can survive the algorithmic gauntlet of TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Instagram. It's about whether your group can be found, recognized, and remembered in a global market that moves at the speed of a swipe. And a debut is supposed to be a thesis statement. It's the moment a group tells the world who they are, what they sound like, what their name means, and what their first era stands for. And rookies don't get many chances to make that impression stick. They don't have legacy branding or massive fandoms or years of discography to fall back on. They have one shot to carve out a space in a market that is already overflowing. So when two rookies debut with names that look and sound this similar, especially names built around an invented root, it doesn't just create confusion. It chips away at the one thing rookies need most: a clean, uncontested identity. And the strange part is that this should not have happened. not what the systems K-pop companies normally use. Naming a group or an album is not a casual process for these companies. It's one of the most tightly controlled parts of the debut pipeline. Before a name ever reaches the public, it usually goes through trademark checks in Korea, in the US, and through WIPO's Madrid system. Agencies check social handles across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X. They test pronunciation across languages. They evaluate global searchability. They build logos and typography around the name. They run it through in-house legal teams and external IP attorneys. They check for complex similarities and potential confusion. This is a system designed to prevent overlap. And yet both the names, KEYVITUP, Keyveatz, slipped through that pipeline. Now here's some important context. I'm not here trying to start any rumors. There are no reported legal disputes between these two groups' companies. There are no trademark filings that appear to be blocking each other, at least that I can see publicly. Not in Kypros, not in USPTO, not in WIPO. And thanks to Korea's 2024 consent agreement system, even similar trademarks can coexist if both parties agree. So the issue here isn't legal instability, it's navigational instability. Because the names are structurally very similar. They share the same KEYV anchor. They have the same rhythmic pattern. They're both 8 letters. They both use stylized English letter constructions with no attached dictionary meaning. And even though trademark examiners might not see a problem, algorithms absolutely do. The fact that I felt confused having listened to and reviewed KEYVITUP's debut album and then realizing there was another group with a nearly identical name coming up. I mean, I was very confused. That is what brought me here. And I know I'm not alone. Fans have been mixing them up. Search results are blurring. YouTube autocompletes one when you're looking for the other. There are TikTok hashtags cross-pollinating. And this is all before Keyveatz has even debuted. The deeper issue is what this overlap reveals about the creative infrastructure behind K-pop. Because the truth is, the industry is much smaller behind the scenes than it looks. Different companies often rely on the same kinds of systems and tools, like distribution and label services platforms and A&R and analytics tools, on the same pool of freelancers, branding studios, copywriters, and production houses. When you have the same tools and creatives pitching ideas to multiple agencies, overlap becomes almost inevitable. Again, that's where the situation stops being funny and starts being kind of revealing. Algorithms, they don't care that one group is male and the other is female. They don't care that the concepts are different. Algorithms care about keywords, metadata, and engagement patterns. When two groups share the same linguistic anchor, especially, their content gets cross-fed, their analytics get tangled, and their search results cannibalize each other. For rookies, that's essentially oxygen being cut off. Even the narrative of a debut suffers for these groups now, because a name is supposed to be a statement. But when two groups use the same invented word, it stops feeling intentional. It stops feeling unique. It starts feeling like a template. And the irony is that KEYVITUP, the boy group, actually debuted first. They released content earlier. They established their presence earlier. They built brand equity earlier. But algorithms don't care, just like the market doesn't care. And none of that protects them from confusion. Now, this is not a scandal. I wouldn't say this is a mistake. I think this is a symptom. I think it's a symptom of an industry whose creative infrastructure is stretched thin. A symptom of a naming pipeline that can't keep up with the volume of debuts. A symptom of an algorithmic environment that punishes ambiguity. a symptom of a creative ecosystem where even invented words can collide. Two rookies debuting with names that share the same invented linguistic root in the same month shouldn't happen, but it did. And I think that tells us more about the state of K-pop in 2026 than it does about either group.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.